I can use all the help I can get. That's why I love Nutella, a delicious hazelnut spread that's perfect on multigrain toast and even whole wheat waffles. It's a quick and easy way to give my family a breakfast they'll want to eat.
That's a taste of the Nutella advertising that got its parents' company in hot water with consumers. A bunch of American moms spearheaded a class action lawsuit against Ferrero. The group says the ad suggests the spread is actually a healthy choice, but along with hazelnuts and skim milk, Nutella contains 55% processed sugar. Ferrero settled the suit last week for $3 million. That's between $4 and $20 per claimant. Greg Weston, founder of the Weston firm, is on the legal team for the suit in California. Great to have you with us.
Oh, good evening.
So let's start with what exactly was at the basis of this suit here, because you look at the ad, she mentions whole wheat toast, whole wheat waffles. Obviously, that's the healthy thing. Did the company try to claim that, you know, it wasn't actually saying Nutella was the healthy part of that breakfast?
Well, it was that Nutella was part of a healthy breakfast, and it's an appropriate breakfast food for children on a daily basis, which it's certainly not given the amount of sugar and oil in it. And also, there was a very conscious effort to compare Nutella to peanut butter, and peanut butter, of course, is almost 100% peanuts. It's not full of sugar and processed oils. And Ferrero did the right thing and decided to discontinue those ads and also allow consumers to get quite a bit of money in refunds.
Quite a bit of money. $3 million is bupkis in a class action suit. That's a rounding error. That's a nothing burger. I've never heard of a class action settling for so little. I mean, they must have just said, go away if you'll accept $3 million. Why didn't you hold out for more?
Well, I think we also got something that was very important, which was the discontinuation of the advertising and a reform to their practices. And also, you know, I agree with you that that's a small amount compared to other class actions, and we have other cases against other companies that will settle for only a lot more than that. But sometimes when you're the first to settle or one of the first to settle, you get a little bit of a discount, and I think Ferrero did the right thing.
So in terms of what goes on from here, does this have an effect on any other food companies? I mean, are you hoping that an example is made here?
Well, before we actually came to this settlement, there were a number of very favorable decisions for aggrieved consumers that California courts had reached, and including in the Ferrero case. At the time that Ferrero settled, we had won on a motion to dismiss, and we had also won on a motion for class certification, and engaged in discovery, and had really advanced the case forward, and we're certainly going to rely on that precedent in our cases against other large food companies that engage in deceptive advertising and use dangerous ingredients in their products.
Are you saying that sugar is dangerous?
Sugar is not a healthy food to be eating in large amounts on a daily basis. When you're talking about kids, sugar leads to spikes in blood sugar, and then when that spike in blood sugar goes down, then you have the kids be drowsy and depressed, and it leads to obesity. Childhood obesity is a really bad problem in America. And then we also increasingly have a problem with little kids getting type 2 diabetes, which used to be called adult onset diabetes, but so many children are getting diabetes that it's now only called type 2 because it's no longer adult onset. It's no longer something that you get when you're in your 60s. It's something that we're finding teenagers get because of all the sugar they've been eating as children.
I don't know the numbers exactly, but just based on kind of the anecdotal evidence of people I know, kids are the ones who eat Nutella. Not a lot of adults are eating this stuff. So if you settle with the company, instead of actually forcing them to make any kind of statements about the healthiness of this product, are you kind of sweeping this under the rug a little bit? Are we failing to educate parents who might still feed their kids this stuff?
Well, companies don't have an affirmative obligation to make healthy food. If they want to sell food that's a bit of a junk food or a dessert food, that's perfectly fine. What's illegal is marketing that food that's not healthy as a healthy product. So the case wasn't about the fact that the product was unhealthy. It focused on the fact that they were advertising their product in a deceptive way.
So the thesis here is this sort of shot across the bow. You were successful even though the monetary damages were nothing. But other food companies seeing this happen may be concerned, and hopefully, I guess your thesis, as you're telling us, is they'll pull in their horns on advertising, making false claims. Are there any standards they can look at to determine whether their claim is false or not? Because frankly, if I were a food company, I'd say, if you don't eat, you're going to die, so eating food is healthy.
Well, actually, the standard is not one in a Chinese flea market. The standard is a very high one when it deals with the marketing of food or drugs. It cannot be false or misleading in any way in any particular. So we have very good law and very good standards that the FDA has established, as well as state law has established, that even if you have a statement on there that's technically true, that technically true statement can still be actionable as misleading. So what companies need to do is remember that they have an obligation to be absolutely truthful, and if they're concerned about that, they shouldn't make any health claim at all. They should just say what's required, describe the product, and not make health claims, because it's very dangerous to companies to do so. They can face restitution to consumers of all of their revenue from the sale of the product. And if the company made a 10% profit margin and it has to restore to consumers 100% of its revenue, it can, in essence, lose 10 years of profit from 1 year of sales.
Yeah. I guess one thing that really occurred to me when I saw this story, Greg, is how dumb are these parents? Yes, there's advertising, but there's also labeling on bottles. You only have to look at the side. It looks like a treat. It smells like chocolate. Did they really think it was something to give their kid every morning?
Well, you know, peanut butter is a delicious food that you can give your kid every morning, and it doesn't have added sugar, and it's delicious. And Nutella, again, was very focused on having store placement right next to the peanut butter, not next to icing, which it's more similar to. And, you know, it's easy to say for me to read a label, but one of our mom plaintiffs had 7 kids. And, you know, to expect her to read the label of everything she buys in the grocery store, people don't have time for that. And that's a decision that our legislature and the FDA have made, that consumers are entitled to have completely truthful advertising and completely truthful labels when it comes to health and food.
All right, we got to go there. Greg, appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Greg Weston, founder of the Weston Firm. It is time now to zip around the globe for our world wrap. Swissee's profit for UBS fell 54% in the latest quarter after a charge related to company debt. Company beat expectations, though, pushing the stock up. Switzerland's biggest bank saw a big hike in wealth management profit. The bank's CFO also downplayed worries about the breakup of the Eurozone, saying he expects the debt crisis there to be resolved over time. Out of the hole, Greece's massive debt write-down was successful. Standard & Poor's has upgraded Greek debt. Still junk, but it's been given a stable rating. The agency warns the results of Sunday's election could influence whether proposed government reforms will actually be enacted. A global funk, a laundry list of employment data today. The American ADP private sector job report missed expectations by a mile. Fewer than 120,000 jobs created in April, well below the 177,000 expected. The unemployment rate in the Eurozone, meanwhile, is hitting a 15-year high in Italy and Spain, and the youth unemployment rates in Spain and Greece are more than 50%. There is one bright spot. The German unemployment rate fell to 7%, the lowest level for April in 20 years. Coming up after the break, talk about